Good day, everyone. I promised you all that I would share painting a soul aura on my channel. Now, this picture is sketched out 9 by 12. And the customer requested an 8.5 by 11 because she's short on wall space. So I decided to do it 9 by 12, but she still will be able to fit it in with a mat 8.5 by 11. Typically what I do is I ask for a picture because I can still read energy off of a picture if I don't have the person sitting in front of me. I can easily do it. I've done hundreds of soul auras at fairs and events with people sitting in front of me. So it's the same when I look at a picture because everything is energy. Now, on this person, I've done the initial sketch and I've added a few things in that I know for sure that the soul aura needs to have in it. Then what I do is I create a list of the colors that I see. So the first color today is going to be green. Green is the color of healing. You're going to get a shadow because I have my lights on full blast. And I'm going to paint the green around the first color of the soul aura. Now, when I see a soul aura, the colors are swirling around the person. They are not in a line like I am doing here in this picture. So I try to even out that color, but I'm not really picky about it because soul auras, the fact that they're swirling all together, they're not supposed to be perfect. That's not the way that I see them. But in order to create a timeline for the customer or the recipient of the soul aura, I like to lay the colors down like so. When I was staring at this particular picture, and I took a chance and I combined a picture from around 11 years ago to present. Just because our pictures, even if it's a present picture or one that's recent, does not show the whole person. If that person is getting older, and I can still see where they are at, but it also helps to have a younger version. The first color around the head is what I have coined the core color. This is the core of the person. This is who they truly are. This is the color that they incarnated into their body, their soul incarnated into their body with, among other colors. But this is who they truly are. Now, this person, from the age of birth to around approximately 20 years, it can extend over. Green is also the color of the earth. It is the color of being in nature. It is the color of needing that kind of an environment in order to be happy. And oftentimes what happens in life is we move out of our core color. but we always tend to come back to that core color as we get older and older, if we are following our divine purpose, if we have experienced the lessons in life that we need to experience to bring us back to that. Now, some people right away will merge with their core color as a child, and they will carry it through. It's rare, but it does happen. While I was looking at the picture, I noticed that above the crown on the head, I saw a strip of red right around this area. And based on where this red falls, it would mean that this person, around the age of maybe 5 to 10 years old, was a very passionate child, a very independent child. Red, having to do with the root chakra, meant that they were grounded in themselves. They had a plan for their life in their own mind. They knew that they needed to make some decisions in order to have that. But as I said, life would have it that they didn't carry that. So they did carry the independence. They did carry knowing who they are. They did carry their root chakra forward in life, but a lot needed to happen in order for them to bring that out to the age that they are now. So I'm just going to leave that right there. There were some things that happened to this person around the age of 20, 22 years old, could be younger, that shaped the area of their life in a way that they weren't planning on when they were younger. So the next color that I have is yellow. Yellow is a vibrant color. It's the color for vitality. It's the color of the solar plexus. It has to do with making a living. It has to do with jobs. It has to do with moving forward and really knowing that they have to survive. I'm not going to get into the colors very deeply, but this falls around the ages of 2022 to the age of 40-ish. Now, when I paint these, sometimes the colors overlap when I'm painting them. You know, I like to be loose with painting them. I don't like to be so strict because I allow the paint to do what it needs to do. If you notice over here, there's a little bit of green mixed in with the yellow. And this is on the right side of the person. So I'm going to say approximately 30 years old. Then that person had to make some decisions. Even before that, if you look, it starts about 25 here and moves out to about 28 years old. And I did not do that. There must have been some green left in my brush. And I allow for spirit to choose this because it gives me more information. And right around this time, this person decided either to leave a situation that she was in and to start the healing process for herself and look for a job that would provide more security for herself and her family. I'm sensing that right around this time, or maybe out to about here, maybe in her 30s or 40s, she had to kind of go at it alone. And this going alone brought her back to the red when she was a child. It brought her back to the independence and the fortitude that she had as a child. She was kind of the kind of child that if you said something to her, she might do the opposite. In other words, she had a very strong will. And having a strong will is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Although making mistakes or making choices that form the life for that person, they came to this planet. They incarnated from God. Their soul incarnated to learn these particular life lessons. So moving on, we have the color. Pink is the color of love. Pink is the color of caregiving. Pink is the color of choosing to be love, choosing to care for yourself, choosing to care for others. Archangel Chamuel is associated with the color pink. And basically, this was a choice. Pink can also show up on individuals who are spiritual. They become very spiritual because of where it landed. It is not the core color. It landed on the outside of the solar plexus. Now, as I said, when these colors are swirling, I have to use my intuition to determine where these colors lay so I can talk about it and write a reading up for the individual that wants the soul aura. Now, you can also see it overlapped a little bit here into the yellow. And so I'm just going to soften that a little bit. So I'm going to say around the age of anywhere between 38 and 45, or 38 and 42, let's say, this woman had an awakening. One of quite a few, actually. But this is where she decided to let go, to become very spiritual, to heal some of the issues that she had. Now, the pink mixed with the yellow turns a little bit to orange here. So we've got some of that on the left side, which means it's coming in. It means that she realized something about herself, or she realized something about somebody else very close to her in her life. Orange has to do with addictions. It can be any kind of an addiction, really. It can be food. It can be work-related. It can be substances. And so this overlapped into the pink. And so this woman had to learn how to deal with that, either within herself or with somebody else. And it was a really, really hard lesson. So it makes sense that in her, between 40 and 60, that she had to release and let go of something that was very, very special to her. The next color around this woman is from 60 and beyond. And it is the color gold. Gold is the highest color that one can achieve. And typically when I see gold around somebody, it means that their life was very difficult, that they had to make some choices and decisions that were very, very difficult, that most people would fold under. And this woman did not fold. She did seek help, and she did become a very, very spiritual person. I would be willing to guess that she's probably considered a Christian by today's standards, but she also has a very strong intuition. So through all of these challenges, she learned how to listen to her gut. And she also learned how to let go of people that she loved, situations that caused her a lot of pain. And she is now in this area of divine fulfillment, not without challenges still, because now the challenges are more about her and her body than they are about what is going on. And this woman has learned how to live with very little and worked herself up to being able to support herself, support her family, and move through grief. That's what I'm getting, move through grief. So that's it for the colors. Now, the gold over here on the right side, which is the going forward side, overlaps with the pink. So that is a validation that whatever was going on during this time of her life, she chose to change it. She chose to let go of what she couldn't change and to change what she could. That started happening around 22 to 25 years old, maybe even 28. Now, if I wanted to be a perfectionist, when I did the drawing, it wasn't completely in the center. And I don't even think about it. I just kind of start drawing. Her right side has more space than her left side, which tells me that all of the energy coming in on the left side through her growing years stifled her, either by choice or by happenstance or just because of the way things were. There was a kind of a stuck feeling somewhere in here. But as we move to the right side, going forward, there's been a release. Now, as far as I'm concerned, right now, the only worry, if we circle back into the core, is for healing. And healing has to do with not residual things about the choices that she made. She's reconciled herself to that. But more about what is going on with her body and where she feels like, is she going to be around? She doesn't have that energy anymore. She's tired all the time. I'm sensing some back issues. Let's go to the root. I don't know if she had a fall when she was a young child. Something might have damaged her lower back, but I'm hearing degenerative disc disease. I'm not a medical professional, but that's what I'm hearing. And the recipient will validate this, but that's what I'm hearing. I could be wrong. As I said, I'm not a physician. I'm only doing the soul aura aspect of it. And before I paint the final of this, which I'm going to do off camera, I want to share some specifics here. In the heart chakra, we have 2 oak leaves. You know, I saw an oak tree, but 2 leaves stood out. The 2 shall be as one. So whatever happened to this woman, that person that she had to release is forever in her heart. But also on a present moment level, I believe she has found her soulmate. And this was rough going throughout her life, finding this soulmate. And there are 2 acorns as well, coming from the 2 oak leaves. The acorn as a seed of life for the oak tree. And I'm going to tell you something. This woman, even though she has back issues, I'm guessing, has a backbone of steel, which is why the oak leaves presented themselves. The mighty oak, even though the tops of the trees sway, the strongest of wood, one of the strongest of woods, is the oak tree. She learned how to stand alone and stand with her now partner. The other thing in her third eye, which I haven't completed at all, there's a cross here. And that speaks of what I mentioned earlier, of what went on in this area. She got through it through her belief and her resolve to follow Jesus Christ. So that is why that cross is there. It's in her third eye because that's who she goes to for everything. Sometimes I see crosses elsewhere. I see them in the heart chakra. I see them sitting on the shoulder. I see them floating around in the aura. Now, there are going to be other things up here. There is one thing in particular that I am going to put before I get off and finish this soul aura, and I will show you the finished product, is right resting on her right shoulder is an orb. I'm going to place this orb right here, resting on her shoulder, partially on her. Now, the interesting thing about this orb is I believe it is someone in spirit. And I get this feeling that as a child, this person was a chatterbox, loved to talk, loved to think about, kind of talked more than the normal person, may have had some mental issues. Now I will polish a lot of this up. And this energy type swirl of blue is going upward. Which means that this person went up. Because you know, the divine God source, when the Bible says that we go back from whence we came, dust to dust. That's where the body goes. But the spirit goes up. And God knows all of our challenges. God knows what we are up against. God knows our mental capacity. God knows how hard we try. And I feel like this person tried really hard, but couldn't make it to total healing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a white dot in the center, and I am going to leave the texture of this orb. If you notice the way that it's stamped in the center is a solid blue. And as the solid blue goes this way, it goes up. So I'm going to put a white dot in the center. Because I feel like this woman needs to know that this person that she loved so much is safe. I think that we need to understand that God knows our core. God knows where we came from. And sometimes people make choices that are not in their best interest, but God knows all this. So she is now in spirit. Okay, my friends, I will see you with the finished piece at the end of this video. Okay, I'm stopping painting right here. And while I was painting the lines for the oak leaves, my brush slipped out of my hand. And if you notice, there are 2 brown brush marks. Everything happens for a reason when I paint a soul aura. And I know exactly what this means. Falling from the oak leaves, from the mighty oak, are seeds. You know the little helicopters that fall out of the trees? Well, that's what these are. And it shows that life, from the steadfastness of this woman, is going to go and move on, even long after she's gone. That's what that means. So I'm going to fix those, but I wanted to show you that I have to leave them. I can't take them out of there because they happened for a reason. Okay, everyone, the picture is now finished. It's complete. And there is so much going on in here. If you notice, the red from, 5 to 10 years old is now branching out into the solar plexus and beyond, and it is changing to white, which is an angelic color. It is indicative of someone who has learned many lessons and has overcome these challenges. And then on the top, we have 5 green dots, bringing the whole healing pattern of the soul, the divine blueprint of the soul, back to its original status. Again, this has nothing to do with us getting older and having physical issues. It's more of an inner healing. And this person has figured out who the great healer is. And even though she now has physical challenges, she embraces every day, but she's a realist. She doesn't live in some sort of utopia that, she is a realist of what is happening to her body right now. There are also in her sweater, her sweater was green, which is perfect because of being in nature, feeling grounded in nature. Maybe she loves the color green, all different variations of it. But because I didn't want to make her throat chakra blue, which is the color of the throat chakra, she has learned how to change her way of speaking. She can be very bold, very blunt. But if it doesn't serve her, she has learned how to be quiet now and more loving, which is the pink. And these zigzags, there's some Indian influence. I don't know if it's in her DNA, but there is Indian influence in her soul aura. And then these two little seeds, I made them look like little birds because they're flying and spinning, but they're also dropping to the ground. So her lineage is going to be carried on from generation to generation. And the third eye also has a gold spiral around the cross, indicative of wisdom, indicative of the highest form of attunement, and that's where she is headed in this area right now. So all in all, I'm not going to give you the personal information that I collected because I did collect some, and if she gives me permission to put this on YouTube, I will be putting it on YouTube with just the information that I'm doing in this video. The rest of it is for her personal well-being and redemption, reconciliation, and her soul.